Okay, so now we want to start to deal with the hover effect. We want, when we hover on this side, on the left, it's going to spread out. The width will be wider. Same thing if we hover over here. So I'm going to manually just add on the container, the div with the class of container. I'm going to add hover left and save that just so we can style it and see what we're doing. So let's say for the class of hover dash left, when that's active, then we want to take the left side and we want to increase the width, and this is going to be in a custom property or a variable called hover dash width. Now at the same time, when hover left is active, the right side is going to be smaller, so we then want to set that width to a variable called other width. All right, and then we'll go up here and we'll set those variables. When I say variables or custom properties, I mean the same thing. So dash dash hover dash width is going to be 75%. You can change this ratio if you want. So other width is going to be 25%. Now if I save that, hover left is applied to the container, so the left side is now wider. It's 75%, the other side is 25, which is what we want. Now at the same time, let's copy these two lines and say if hover right is applied, then we want the right side to be hover width, and then down here, if hover right is applied, we want the left side to be the other width. So now if I go and I apply here, hover right and save, now this side is wider. So that's exactly what we want. Now I am going to add the JavaScript now so that this gets added dynamically instead of us having to actually put it in here. So now it's going to go back to normal. And if we go into our JavaScript here, let's bring in the left side. So const left, I'm going to use document.query selector. And we want to select the class of left, copy that down. We also want to grab the right side, so that'll be right, and then we also want to grab the container because that's where we're adding the classes to and removing the classes from. So container, and then we'll take the left, we'll add an event listener with add event listener, and this time we're listening on a mouse enter event, which is basically a hover. And then when that happens, we're going to call an arrow function and take the container. I don't need to put curly braces since this is just one line in this function. I'm going to take the container and I'm going to call class list.add to add a class. And I'm going to add the class of hover dash left. So I'm just dynamically doing what I just manually did in the HTML. All right, now if I save this and I go and I hover over it, you can see that it gets wider and it just stays there. So we need to take care of removing it as well. So we'll say left add event listener, and this time it's going to be mouse leave. All right, so mouse leave, and then we want to remove the hover left. So now you can see that I can go in, gets wider, I move, it gets thinner. And we want to do the same for the right, so I'm just going to copy that, and we will take, let's say, this, this, and this, and this, and change it all to right. Okay, so when we mouse enter the right, it's going to add hover right. When we leave, it's going to remove hover right. So now I can go on either side. Now it's just flicking back and forth, which I don't like, so we just want to add a smooth CSS transition. So we just need to take, let's take split right. I'm going to go right here and say split right, split dash left, and let's also grab the pseudo selector. So split dot right colon colon before, and split dot left colon colon before, and we're just going to add a transition. So transition on all, and the speed is going to be inside of a variable called speed, and we'll do an ease in out effect. So let's go up here and apply a speed variable. That way you can just change it here if you want. So speed is going to be 1000 ms, so 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. And now, okay, it looks like the overlay, let's see, what did I mess up down here? So transition, so I've split, split dash left, should be split dot left. So the overlay was working, but the actual left wasn't. So now you can see that it's working. So it looks pretty good. The last thing I want to do is on smaller screens, like under 800, I want to just make the H1 smaller and the button smaller. So let's add a media query here. So we'll say media, let's say max width 800 pixels. Then let's take the H1 and let's set the font size to, we'll set it to 2 rem, so from 4 rem to 2 rem. And then for the button, so BTN, let's set the width to 12 rem. I think it was 15 to begin with. And we'll also lessen the padding. So padding we'll do 1.2 rem. And let's see, so these are kind of far away. So I guess we could move the H1 down a bit. So from the top, I believe it was 20%. Let's do 30%, and that will move it down. All right, so I think that looks pretty good, even on smaller screens. So that's when we hit 800 pixels. So that's going to be it. And if you guys want to change up the content, obviously I just thought this was a good idea because of the time of year, and you know, the systems are coming out, they're really popular. I have yet to find a PlayStation 5 myself, so just thought it'd be a good idea. But of course you can change the content up. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this project, and I will see you in the next one.